Good afternoon, everyone. Now, the talk you're about to listen to is slightly different from all the others because I'm not going to be talking about a singular achievement. I'm going to be talking about a journey. Now, this has nothing to do with elephants, but I want you to keep the image of an elephant in mind throughout this talk. Think of this as a new University of Leeds student. They're going in for the first time on the campus that has 30, 31,000 other students. They think they have tough skin, but essentially they're going in alone. Now, this will be a very familiar scene to many of the students and the staff here. You have a lecture theatre that has 100, if you're on the conservatorium, you have a lecture theatre of, up to 500 students. All at the same time. Yes, possibly not everyone will be there at the same time, which is why there's some empty seats. But this is the image that we're all used to, and listening to a professor share their wisdom. Now, to give you some background, I come and have grown up in two countries, the Kingdom of Bahrain and Brunei Darussalam. In both cases, each of those countries have just about under 1 million people. So when I'm walking onto a campus alone with 31 other thousand students, it's very much that this is the case, where you can easily feel like you're drowning. And, thank goodness for my personal tutor, like Peter Hughes. Shout out to Peter. You were absolutely fantastic in helping me guide the way, because I felt a little bit alienated. I mean, on paper, right? On paper, I was doing academically brilliantly. I finished second in my cohort in first year. I had won an enterprise competition. If you look at it on paper, life was going really, really well. But in actual fact, if you scratch that surface, and this goes for everyone, if you scratch that surface of all those success, all those achievements, I still really missed that community feeling. That feeling that you get when you know and you can rely on others for help. That feeling when you can turn around, you know the name of the people sitting next to you in that lecture theatre, which yes, happens sometimes, but not all the time. So back to the elephant. Although that first image, you're going in like an elephant, you can handle yourself in the jungle, you've got tough skin. In actual fact, you're nothing more but a soft plushy toy. And, all the achievements of paper can't, stop that. So to fast forward a little, I managed through a series of accidents to land a year-long internship with the Foreign Commonwealth Office. I'm still not sure exactly how that happened, but what it showed me there, though, I was able to apply my degree knowledge to a professional environment. And, even there was some incredible stories there, which I'm not allowed to share, unfortunately, because of they made us sign the Official Secrets Act. So sorry about that. But what really showed me there is that the people within the office were so willing to help you. Just imagine, right? You are going in and having never worked a day in your life properly before in that type of office environment, and boom, you have all this, you are surrounded by such amazing architecture. You see walking by, the ministers, the Secretary of State, and you're just like, oh my, wow. Philip Hammond gave the budget speech today as the Secretary of State for the Treasury, the Chancellor. But he used to be the Secretary of State for the Foreign Commonwealth Office. And oh my goodness, you just see him walking by and you're just like, whoa. And that's the environment that you have day to day. And they didn't just help myself, but my line manager, Natasha Stosbury, she was my lifeline. And she would get calls from people she did not even know who were in her college at Oxford or may have known someone who knows her. So the level of separation was really large. But she was always willing to lend a hand. And then, I was just like, well, actually, and I was speaking to her about this. I was like, why is there such a great community spirit there? Why? What's going on? How can I take that practice and, apply it everywhere? So, it was apparently it's the collegiate system that Oxford, Cambridge, and Durham have, and that, really strengthens the bond. And to me, that's I had that spark, that idea, that's it. When I come back to Leeds, forget about all the the academics. I mean, don't forget, but, you need to focus, focus on building that community. If I'm in my final year at Leeds, I want to leave something. I needed to find a herd. You can only achieve so much on your own, but in a team, you can do more. So to give you some background to this, in my final year of university, I was appointed the Leeds University Union Economics School Representative. I did the same role in my second year, but this time in my final year, I wanted to make sure that not only will I represent the students, but because I'm in my final year, there is that duty of care with the younger students to make sure that they're having a great time. So this is just an example of building community spirit. This was a community building event that we did in the common lounge area where all these first years here would be sitting in little circles and just chatting to people who they don't know. Like the economics program is up to 200 students and I just wanted to help them, build those bonds, help each other, learn that actually you can say hi to people. Now this over here, this happened November 2016. And what you're seeing here is essentially an internship panel of people, those 5 people there. 4 of them are final year students who are passing on their advice to first year students. And if you look how many first year students are here, that lecture theatre can hold 244 people. We nearly filled it up with first year students, just listening. There was literally, it's not like these are professionals. These are just some final year students who want to share best practice in what they've done. Some of them have done study abroad, some of them went on placement years. It's just advice. And the person chairing that event, the person sitting right in the middle there, she was a first year student who was the course representative for economics. And why would I push the course representative rather than myself to be chairing that panel after all the hard work organizing? That's because I wanted to shine the spotlight on someone else. But moreover, because actually, when it comes down to it, everyone there is a first year. They should look and be inspired by another first year. So they can see that actually, you can do it. That actually, even though you're a first year, you can do some great, extraordinary things. And don't let age be a barrier. The point is then, feedback from this event, we ended up having little WhatsApp groups of first years all helping each other when applying for first year internships, which I think was fabulous. Because rather than competing against each other, you're collaborating with people here because you know that in the big picture, you're not competing against Leeds people, you're competing against the country. So you might as well help each other out. And in doing so, that one light bulb of helping each other and building a community, that becomes several light bulbs. And why is that important? Because again, one light bulb can only do so much. But if you have a series of light bulbs, you can light up a room. You can light up the campus. Now, with these light bulbs, I was making comments. I gave a keynote speech at the end of that event. And I said, look, why is it that as a group here, within the business school, why don't we have our own business, finance, or economic conferences? Why aren't we seeing more internship panels? Because that was the first one that was ever done. Why aren't we seeing more help between the first years and the final year students? We all want the same thing. We're all in a very scary, potentially scary campus. Why don't we do more? And they responded. To those who were here in the first half of the session, you'd have heard how another society did an internship panel. You'd have heard how actually, those students who attended that event are now on their own journeys doing incredible things. And in terms of helping each other out, that's not stopped. It doesn't stop at one event, it continues. It's a cycle. And even if you've never had that before, you wish you did. That's all a series there. Read that because that's important. So alongside Rebecca, I'm a co-founder of the Leeds Women in Leadership Society, and my role there is the male agent of change. And what that role entails is actually gender inequality in the workplace or in anywhere is not a single gender issue, it's an everyone issue. And it's about making, bringing guys to our society events and actually saying, look, even though this may not directly affect you as an individual, it'll affect everyone around you. And if it affects everyone around you, rather than contribute to the problem, why don't you be part of the solution? And, the cycle starts. And I wish I could show you some feedback here, but I kept it private. But essentially, you'd even have first years. Because if you think about it, right, why would an 18-year-old go to the Leeds Women in Leadership Society event? That immediately turns them off, unfortunately. They'd be oh, why should I? It's not for me. Actually, those that go, their feedback's incredible. Their eyes are open to the series, the challenges that they never even realized existed. that they will now go, having gone to those events, they will now go and graduate and be like, actually, I'm aware now. So I'm going to make sure that the people that I manage in the future, the people that are sort of like, around me, my colleagues, make sure they don't feel that way, that some of our speakers have felt at our events. So something else that I made sure to do was to start a campus-wide one-on-one mentoring team. So irrespective of your degree, and this was under the umbrella of the society, so irrespective of your degree, if you are a first year or a second year student and you want to be connected to a final year student, who studies your degree, who wants to go into who goes into a work experience area that like you have gone into, we can do that for you. And we've had nearly 100 final year students sign up to be part of that, even though they've never had their own mentor. And I think that's incredible that despite not having their own, they've still signed up because they want to offer that to the future first years, the next generation. Fast track now to this year. I'm a course representative for the Consumer Analytics and Marketing Strategy course. And, just doing things like this where actually it shouldn't stop, like the building the bonds. Whatever level you're at, you should keep going. And in terms of those two companies there, like that was just sending off loads of messages to alumni and being like, hey, do you want to help? Like, do you want to lend a hand? Do you want to give a talk? And they were happy to. So you'd hope that by paying it forward, other people can feel that success. Other people can, celebrate their achievements. And you can stand in the background and be like, that's fantastic. Help people even when you know that they cannot help you back. When I see someone, and they might be incredibly nice, but I like to see how they talk to someone who can't offer them anything in return. I want to see how they treat people who, have nothing, absolutely nothing to offer them back. That's how I sort of judge people's character. And, I'm not, this is my last slide here, but I'm not an incredible person. Yes, I was shortlisted for 3 partnership awards last year, at the university level: Equality and Diversity, Academic Rep, and Positive Impact. But those individual awards mean nothing compared to the inspiration that first-year students, the next generation of students have felt through the activities, through the events. And just to make sure that that I'm not some superhuman, look at that. This is a video that's currently on YouTube, but my tie's messy. My graduation gown is all over the place. Literally, it's slanting, okay? So, I'm human just like the people sitting here. And I'd like to hope at the end of this talk, you can be like that elephant giving shade to someone who can't offer you anything in return, might be younger than you, and literally has no professional networks to offer you. But because by doing so, you can pay it forward, and they'll do the same to someone in their first year. Thank you very much for listening.